let's forget that before the first stars and the first black holes, there was not a lot, if any, gravity, not a lot, if any, pressure, not a lot, if any, light, not a lot, if any, anything. We're talking about the first things here. We're not talking about, oh yeah, we've got a primordial universe and we're making stuff the way that we all make stuff today. Now this is before stars were built by the thing that I'm talking about. And real negative properties, blah blah blah. And anti-positive properties, blah blah blah, anti-negative properties. Then I went on to say, think about the types of breakaway possibilities in the singularity before entering the breakaway point. I came up with 3 possibilities: odd numbers of fragments enter, even numbers of fragments enter, or singular fragments enter. Singular. Then I went on to theorize that the number of fragments in a field determines field strength or field size. So I realized that I have to take quite a few different factors into account because it gets quite complicated. Take my multiple trillions of fragments in a field and then determine the strength of the field at any particular point. And I want to show that a field can contain 20 trillion fragments and have different ferrotug properties and show how that can happen. So what I'm trying to tell you is, let's say there was 20 trillion fragments and I've got 2 magnets, okay? Both got 20 trillion fragments in each of their scopes, okay? One magnet can hold a ball of one size, but another magnet can hold a ball of a different size. Different magnets have different size, different strengths of field, even though they've got the same basic bits. Okay, so you've got 2 physical magnets, exactly the same size. They've got exactly the same amount of small thing or particles within inside them, yet they can produce different amounts of ferrotug or magnetic strength or gravity, whatever you want to call it. The round things are magnets, or square things are magnets, whichever one you want to postulate. As you can see, there's different lengths in the arrowed lines, and all the things are approximately the same size, yeah? Now, the attraction is the same at the different distances within the 2 different diagrams. So, at that distance, which is approximately, I don't know, 13-15 centimeters, this ball is attracted to that magnet. Alright, like that. We'll take the second magnet, and at 6 centimeters this ball is attracted, but at 13 centimeters, although there's force happening, there's not enough force to attract. Well, they're both exactly the same size, with both exactly the same amount of small things or particles within their fields. And my theory has got to explain how that can happen. And I've got to take into account number of fragments or number of small things. I've got to take into account the size of the singularity at the centre of each magnet. That could be the single limiting factor of one over the other. Okay, then I've got to take into account the length of the Venturi system within inside the singularity. Then I've got to take into account the size of the Venturi vent. You've got the singularity at the centre, then you've got the vent at the outside of the Venturi. Obviously, what is a Venturi? So at the centre of it, it's the singularity. Then you've got the number of fragments entering and the number of fragments leaving or exiting. And then you've got the speed of the fragments exiting or leaving, or the speed of the fragments entering. Then you've got on top of that, there's so many more factors to limit the speed of ejection. Now, the speed of ejection and envelopment and the time correlation and the distance travelled and all of that, I've got to try and put that into my program and not have it contradict itself, because it's got to be perfect. I can't have any contradictions. A contradiction is a bug, is something that's going to stop my program from working. Using a 3 in, 3 being processed, and one of those being in the singularity. So, and because each singular fragment can take on one of 5 possible properties, that means that there can be, in that one scenario that I'm talking about, over 6,000 possible outcomes. And this is happening every single second, multiple thousands of millions of times, to keep a magnetic field or gravity field in process, basically. At this point, you're going to be having a fragment in the centre. It's about to be emitted out of the south side of the magnetised mass. Right, and entering the south side are 3 fragments. Okay, now they're better. As you can see, the fragment in the singularity is about to be ejaculated out of the south side, but at the same time we've got 3 fragments here coming in. As you can see, they've got different properties. Not too concerned what properties they've got, but any one of those fragments can hold 4 or 5 properties. Okay, and then we've got 2 more fragments of those 3 coming out of this side here. As these are coming in, they're obviously going to interfere with this coming out. As these are being reprocessed and coming back out the north side, they're obviously going to interfere with these 3 coming in. But after my program has been running for a while, it will eventually get to that point there. I don't know how long, depending on obviously how much processing power I've got. What was it, you call it a big bang? I'm not expecting the computer to blow up, but I'm expecting it to demonstrate what you lot call the Big Bang and what I call the start